Welcome to a video that if I had would have changed my life, because when I finally knew how to sell this thing that we're going to be calling Futurescape equity, I quadrupled my income in 8 months. No joke. So today I'm going to give you a tried and true process in order to increase your place from wherever you are right now to where you want to go, whether it's in your relationship, your career, whatever it is. So let's get right into it, okay? So first of all, a bit of context. So the power of vision. This is why Futurescape equity is so powerful, okay? The power of vision. So it's how big names like Zuck and Elon sell people on ideas in the future, okay? It's how people like will come out with something on social media or something like that, and stock market prices will literally change because of an idea. Nothing's actually changed in reality. It's just because of an idea, okay? So the unseen question was always with Zuck and with Elon, right? When Elon talks about his big ideas, or let's say Zuck talks about the metaverse, it wasn't whether or not we should do these things, whether Elon should go ahead and do these things. It was about whether he could. And if people bet that he could do these things, hypothetically, he was the guy to be able to do this, then like I said, stock market prices would literally change and money, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars would be thrown around as a result of this. Okay, so the product, what are we actually selling? Well, it's called Futurescape equity, and we're going to get into it in this presentation, exactly what that is and exactly what that means. Okay, so why does this matter? It's because selling your potential is the ultimate career tool. Selling people on what you will do and who you will be is so valuable because it lets you borrow from the future and have results today. So if you guys stick with me until the end, like I promised here, I'm going to show you the exact process of how I did this in my own career and how people like Zuck and Elon do this all the time. Again, I'm going to preface this by saying this is not something I created. This is just tried and true principles that I've assembled together into a quick presentation for you so that you can benefit as quickly as possible and save as much time as possible. So what is Futurescape equity? Well, a powerful concept, okay? It's selling others on your potential achievements. It's not even something you've done yet. It's selling people on what you might be able to do, but getting, like I said, results, or getting almost like cash, getting an investment right now on what you might be able to do in the future, right? So next, it's an uncommon approach because it shifts focus from where you are to where you're going. A lot of people will say, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I've done in the past. Here's why you should trust me. But with this process, we learn how to sell where we're going and where we would like to be. So you've probably clued in already, but why is this valuable? Is because it allows any even beginner, if they know how to sell Futurescape equity in this process, even any beginner to be bought into from the get-go. Also has very versatile application. So it works for career goals, relationships, investments, just like I mentioned. Strategic selling requires precision to avoid mistakes. There is a right way to do this. There is a wrong way to do this. This presentation will outline what you need to know. You can watch it repeatedly if that helps. And then no matter when you're asking for a raise, when you're trying to get an investment in something, you can use this exact same process. And proven results. It transformed my career, and here's how. So I'll give you a quick story before we kind of get into the rest of the presentation. When I started in my current position, okay, which I'm a chief operating officer of a now $60 million company, 60 plus million actually in our sales. So I got here with almost no experience, okay? And I got here really, really quick. And what happened was I essentially walked into a company and I was given an opportunity. Now, in that opportunity, I started to learn the steps of selling Futurescape equity. And what ended up happening? Well, I went through all the steps, went through all the processes, and then in 8-9 months, I was, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, I quadrupled my income with my new position. So we're going to get into how this happened, but this is exactly what happened to me. It literally worked for me, and that's why I'm so excited to share it now, because I can look back in retrospect and give you the exact breakdown of what I did. So there is going to be a summary here at the end of the video, but it's really important that you see every step. So we're going to go through every one first, okay? So the first thing is identifying your goal, right? I mentioned it works for relationships, for your job, whatever. Well, what is your goal in this case, okay? Identify your goal. So know what you want. Define clear goals. Is it a promotion? Is it an investment in something? What is it? What is your goal? Okay? Make that very, very clear. Write it down if you want, but just have it in mind at least. Okay? Set a vision. What does the future you actually look like? Okay, so this guy who gets a promotion, right? Let's say you go from, I don't know, you're a regular sort of worker somewhere to now you're a manager. What does this actually look like? What sort of things are you doing? What does your energy feel like? Like, what does this person actually look like? Because it has to be different from who you are now, because you, in your mind, you know you want to level up. So what does it look like when you have leveled up? Okay, target areas. Consider work, business, and personal aspirations. These are all things that you can target with this process, Futurescape equity, that you're about to learn. Okay, get specific. The clearer the vision, the more effective your approach. This is going to be super crucial, and this is something that I cannot overstate. Super important. And then think big. This is all about selling a compelling future self. And I will also mention right now that the more you do this process, the better and better you're going to get at it. So there you go. Okay, creating momentum. So start in silence. Here's really the first step, okay? You choose a goal and you work on it without sharing. So you're in a workplace and you're going to choose something. Just it could be anything. It could be, okay, I want to keep the floors extra clean in the restaurant I work in. It could be any goal, anything, okay? But start working on it and don't tell anybody. This is the first step. Have a very particular goal and don't tell anyone. Low-hanging wins, okay? Begin with smaller attainable targets. Now, in my company, it was pretty easy to target certain KPIs. So, for example, the first thing that I was really in charge of was customer service. So I was like, okay, how can I increase our actual CSAT? So that's an acronym, CSAT, which basically stands for customer satisfaction score, okay? And that was really easy for me because there was a lot that we could do. I'll get into that in a moment, okay? Own the goal publicly, okay? Now, once you've chosen your goal, and you kind of begin with smaller sort of attainable targets, right? You can make modest commitments to gain visibility. So in my case, which you're going to see here in a second, when I give you my example of what I did, I basically promised that I was going to get customer service increased a little bit. Okay, so the quality of our customer service, again, measured by the CSAT, I basically made the promise that I was going to increase it by 5%. Okay, that's a very modest goal because in my mind, I knew I could do it by 15, right? But I said 5. Again, I made a modest commitment, which gained me visibility. Okay, I'm going to increase it by 5%. We'll get to that in a second again. And then surpass expectations, okay? Exceed on speed, quality, or quantity. So whatever your goal is, let's say, again, you said, let's say you're in sales, right? And you're like, listen, you tell your boss, I'm going to sell 10 of these units by the end of the week. But in your mind, you know you could sell 20, okay? There you just exceeded on quantity. Or maybe you sold them by the end of the day. So you exceeded on speed, right? Or it could be quality, and you can use your imagination to see what examples that would apply to. Right? But like I said here, okay, so for example, mine was raise customer satisfaction by 5% in 1 quarter. Of course, I blew that out of the water, okay? And we moved it from I think I moved it up 20%, something about that, right? Okay, the next step, highlight your wins. And by the way, I'm going to summarize this all at the end, so just stick with me. Highlight your wins. Put a frame around success. So discuss past wins casually and naturally. When you do something like increasing your customer service percent, and again, this is just my example, but when you do something like increasing your customer service satisfaction score from 5%, what you said it was going to be, to the 20% that it actually ended up being, discuss this casually and naturally. Just remind people that this happened, right? You can talk about the fact that, hey, you know, our customers are really happy because, again, it's reflected in our customer satisfaction score, and I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to be able to raise it, right? There's a way to frame this. Next is reinforce progress. Speak about improvements from earlier efforts. So just like I mentioned a second ago, it's like, listen, our customers are actually seeming like, you know, we can just listen to some of the calls and we see how much happier they are when they call us, which I can only imagine translates to more sales. And this only happened because we were able to increase customer satisfaction through certain things that I did, et cetera, right? It's not about being cocky, but it is about reminding people and speaking constantly about what you've done and how it's positively improved the thing that your manager or your boss cares about. Okay. Next, subtle reminders. Recognize contributions without over self-promotion. Same sort of thing that I just said. Celebrate milestones. Share positive results with supervisors. Again, same sort of thing that I just said, but just when things go well, remind them that things are going well and subtly tie it back to the opportunity that you had to do something for them. And then build a reputation, right? So demonstrate growth through consistent achievements. So then we repeat this process a couple times, right? Again, we'll be all summarized here at the end. Selling your potential. So how does this work? The key step here is show how past wins lead to new potential. So you can say something like, look, we just increased customer satisfaction by 20%. Now, if you give our department an investment of another X amount of dollars, whatever it is, right? This, based on that 20% that we just increased, we know that we can now go ahead and survey our customers, or we can ask our customers if they're willing to be in ads for us, so that we can have commercials or ads with really happy customers, which can then attract more customers, right? So this is an opportunity to basically show how your past wins, you can build on that platform to make new potential, okay? You can build new things. Subtle process. Let others notice your pattern of success. Now, in that last few steps that I mentioned where you're talking about it regularly, this is going to begin to happen. But as you really do have these successes, because again, you're not biting off what so many people make this mistake of, they bite off this huge thing right when they start a new position or they want a job promotion or something. They bite off this huge thing. You know, let me go for the 20%, sir. Let me take the 20% increase in customer satisfaction. You could do that, but then you're not doing this process, right? You're not really selling people on your potential and what will happen when they give you the reins. So it's really important to just, again, subtle process, let others notice the pattern of success. It's not necessarily you're committing to these massive things out of the gate. You're just committing to small things and then you're overachieving, right? And you're letting people begin to notice this. This is who you are. You get things done. People begin to know you as someone who gets things done. Okay, future vision. Propose new challenges with a record of success. So now when you want to take on the next thing, because keep in mind, right? Let's say you want a job promotion or you want an increase in your salary. You want to take on more things. Well, you're going to need to take on more responsibility. Now, if you want them to actually give you that responsibility, because it might not be that easy at first, when you propose a new challenge with your record of success, you could say, listen, again, sir, this is why I would like to take on this challenge. Again, a challenge that will equate to you making more money, because that's just the way it makes sense. You have a bigger challenge, you get more compensation. You say, sir, listen, I brought our customer service satisfaction to 20%. I promised 5, I got it to 20. I would like to use the experience that I have right there of blowing that out of the water, frankly, and taking on this new challenge, which is even more impactful to the business. Okay. And again, I'm speaking in terms of business, but this could be in lots of different fronts. You can use your imagination to apply the same process elsewhere. Okay. Next, confidence builds trust. So managers are more likely to support ambitious ideas, especially when you have a record of success. When you have an ambitious idea of where you want to go, your compensation is going to follow. And managers are going to support that, especially when they have a vested interest in the business or the organization or whatever it is succeeding, right? Example. I can use last year's success to tackle this new project. Kind of already mentioned that. I think you can use your imagination to extrapolate, but yeah. Real life success story. Okay. So again, just really quick summary of what happened with me. I entered a startup with zero formal experience in actually working in a sort of company like this. I'd started a couple other things in the past, but I had no formal experience of what I'm currently doing now at the level I'm doing it. I built trust, so I overhauled customer service based on potential alone. So I had done a couple things in the past that allowed me to kind of get my foot in the door in this sort of area. But then really when I overhauled this and made all these changes, the 20% increase, blah, 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 blah. And there's some other things, other details that aren't really that important for this video. But basically, this was all on potential. I was given this opportunity on potential, what I might be able to do. So someone had to trust me to be like, oh, he might be able to do that, right? Next, set and exceeded goals. So show consistent, tangible improvements. Where I show up, things improve. That's the way things go, right? And I'm given the opportunity because I'm taking this small chunk, this 5% that I'm aiming for, and giving 20. And I have that reputation, right? So it's knowing what you could do. By the way, 20 might not even be that crazy. But the fact that I promised 5 and that was agreed to, that's what's impressive, that it was blown out of the water by 4x. Okay. And then climb the ladder. So advance to COO through repeated Futurescape equity sales. This wasn't just the one thing. This was the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And finally, it just made sense for me to have the second most powerful position in the company. The results: quadrupled income in 24 months, right? So I actually said that I did it a little bit faster, and it's actually true that I did it quite a bit faster. But yeah, the quadruple in 24 months is actually more than quadruple in 24 months. So that was actually a mistake there. The quadruple happened after about 8-9 months. The self-fulfilling prophecy. So why it works. Let's kind of 30,000 foot view. Why does this work? Because selling potential builds momentum and self-belief. When you sell people on who you're going to believe, or when you sell people on who you're going to be, and you do that repeatedly successfully, you begin to believe it too. Now, when I make a sale, it's like, no, now I really am this person. I really am stepping into those big boy shoes, and I really am taking the reins. Perception shift. People see you as capable of bigger challenges because you have a reputation of taking on things and succeeding more than you said you would. Psychological buy-in. You and others buy into your potential self. I just mentioned that. But again, the one thing I do want to highlight is you begin to also buy into it, which is then again, the self-fulfilling prophecy. Creates results, boosts confidence, self-esteem, and career growth, obviously. Unlimited potential. Futurescape equity becomes a continuous cycle of success. This just keeps working and working and working. And I'm giving you this framework so you can apply it to so many different things. And again, always, if you have any questions about your life and how this might be able to be applied, please ask me down in the comment section and I will reply directly to you and help you out. Okay, so let's just recap this whole thing. So steps to selling Futurescape equity. What did we just talk about here? Start in silence. Quietly work on a goal without broadcasting it. Choose something and quietly work on it. Okay, so I might have, by the way, I might have not even suggested that I get to 5% increase in customer satisfaction until I already was, everything was almost in line for me to get, let's say 15%. All I had to do was pull the trigger, let's say, right? Might be a good step for you too, because that's, like I said, exceed in quantity, quality, or speed. Now, if speed is your tactic, then you might be able to do that super quickly by getting everything ready. Let's say you're already about to have a 10% increase in something. You then go ahead and promise 5%, and then boom, 2 days later, let's say you have 10. Like, that's incredible, right? So work quietly on a goal without broadcasting it first. Second, target achievable goals. Choose realistic incremental wins. Don't choose something that's super massive that you have no chance of blowing out of the water, or even not even blowing out of the water, just not even succeeding, right? That goes the opposite direction, because then where you are associated, things don't work out. That's what you do not want. Surpass expectations. Go beyond what's promised, right? This is really clear. This is what this whole presentation has been about. Frame your wins. Casually discuss successes to reinforce progress. Okay? Even if you just set a reminder somewhere to just remind you to just, bring it up casually here and there, very important. Do not let people forget that where you go, success follows. Sell potential. Show others how your achievements point to future successes. So again, you can build on the fact that you succeeded last time. Sir, I got 20% in the customer service thing. That was a big thing. I think this time I really want to take on this next big thing, which again, in your mind is attached to a larger compensation because that's only fair. You're handling bigger responsibilities. You should be compensated better. Common pitfalls to avoid. So now you know the system. What do you want to stay away from? Okay, as we wrap up this video. Lack of clarity. Unclear goals can lead to misalignment with stakeholders. Okay, if you just say, hey, I'm going to improve customer service, that's not good enough. Because then you can't blow it out of the water. You can't go above what's expected. It's super unclear, and you haven't even given a metric. You haven't even given a number by which you guys can both objectively evaluate if you've hit or surpassed your goal. Overhyping, overselling without results can damage credibility. So this just goes in the opposite direction, right? If you say, you know what, I'm going to get 50% increase in 2 days, right? And then it takes you a quarter and you only get 10%, then the 5% that you could have promised, that's lost. And then you look so bad because you promised this huge thing and now people don't, they don't expect you to actually get stuff done when you say you will. And then forgetting past wins. Not mentioning past achievements can hinder buy-in. Guys, it's not being cocky, it's being strategic. Slide them in there. Make sure people remember what you did and how impactful it is. Now, there's, again, a way to present it. You can say, thank you so much for this opportunity. I learned so much. I learned how to really have a huge impact on this business, and I'm excited to take the skills and the experience that I have now and have even larger, higher leveraging impacts in the future, right? There's ways to say it. So guys, that's the end of the presentation. I hope selling Futurescape equity has helped you and has opened your eyes on how you can go for promotions or anything like that. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I love speaking with you guys. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you guys with a final quote. That is one that I really like from Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Okay, guys, so keep going, keep selling Futurescape equity, and you're going to get there eventually. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Spencer with Must Become. Always remember that your potential is your obligation, and so what you can become, you must become.